Welcome back to Legends May Live, where we explore the mysterious, the unexplained, and the downright eerie. I'm Drew, and today we've got some truly odd stories straight from Reddit. If you're a fan of the strange and supernatural, then you're in the right place. So buckle up, because these stories might just make you question reality itself. Our first story is called The Phantom Dog. It all started just 30 seconds ago. Well, according to our storyteller, whom we'll call Meg. They were sitting on the couch, their dog walking by to settle behind the L part of their sectional. The dog had a rough night thanks to a rogue popcorn shell stuck in her throat, so they kept an ear out for her breathing, just to be safe. At first, everything seemed fine. Then about 5 minutes go by, and a light snore began, which for her was actually pretty typical, but about after another 5 minutes, that snore turned into something much more disturbing. A deep, grotesque snore, cough, wheezing sound, like some kind of goose-bear hybrid mutant from hell. Meg's heart leapt, pounding from the shock of the noise at first, and then from fear for their dog. She rushed over to check their pup, and that's when things got truly strange. The second she looked at the dog bed, the sound stopped mid-breath. Like when you pause a movie, no taper, no fading, just gone. But the real horror, the bed was empty. Their dog wasn't there. So where was the dog? She had been outside with their parents for the past 30 minutes. There was no way she could have left the room without passing by Meg. So, what did she see walk by and go behind the couch? And what in the world was making that eerie sound just 5 feet away? Needless to say, she decided to spend the rest of the day outside and maybe hire an exorcist. Our next story starts in 2003, when our storyteller, whom we'll call Jack, learned that an old school friend who we'll call John had passed away. The news came from a friend of John's fiancée. They had said that he had died in his sleep at just 23 years old, and there were no signs that drugs or alcohol were involved in any way. It was just a tragic, unexplained death. John's life seemed to have been going well. He was recently engaged to a wonderful woman who was now, of course, devastated. Years passed, and Jack never reached out with the condolences like he had intended, something he later regretted. When the subject came up with a mutual friend, it was clear that the topic was still painful. But here's where things get weird. A couple of years ago, Jack got a friend request from John, the guy who had supposedly died. Thinking it was some kind of dark joke made in poor taste, Jack ignored it. But today, he discovered the truth. John was alive. He was married to the same woman he had supposedly died next to in bed all those years ago. When Jack asked their mutual friend about it, the one who was still struggling with John's death only a couple of years prior, they acted like he was crazy. "What are you talking about?" they said. No one remembered the death. No one remembered the heartbreak of a life lost so young. So what happened? A glitch in reality? A parallel timeline merging with ours? Or just a bizarre false memory? Whatever the case, it would appear that someone came back from the dead, and no one seems to notice but Jack. Our final tale comes from a couple who swear they're not crazy, but reality complicates that a bit. The husband, who we'll call Dave, is an electrical engineer, and the wife, who we'll call Sherry, is a teacher, so it seems like their livelihood depends on their ability to interpret data, have good judgment, and accurately remember things. Yet, this event challenges everything they thought they knew about reality. Years ago, on a cold winter day, when Dave and Sherry were still dating, Dave was driving his truck when he suddenly hit black ice. He tried to correct, but the truck spun and twisted along the road, drifting straight into oncoming traffic. Both his truck and the vehicle he hit were completely totaled, but to the shock of everyone, both men were fine, save some light bruising. A few days later, Dave went to visit Sherry at her apartment. They were chatting casually, talking about school and life, when he suddenly asked, "Hey, when did you get that flat screen TV?" Confused, she told him that she had had that TV since she was 13, but he swore up and down that she had always had a tube TV, one of those thick box-style TVs. To prove him wrong, she pulled up an old picture from Facebook, one taken 2 weeks before the accident. The flat screen was right there, clear as day. His reaction? Pure shock. Like beyond the normal. I could have sworn something and you find out you're wrong. Dave went white. His eyes started to tear up. He knew that picture had been different. The TV had been different. Years passed and they got married. They were on vacation through Europe when Sherry became violently ill. She had terrible diarrhea, vomiting, chills, etc. To top it off, the week before, she had just had her time of the month. But it seemed to be starting again somehow, and it was especially heavy this time. Within the hour, Sherry's being carried off in an ambulance. It would turn out that she had a ruptured ectopic pregnancy with heavy internal bleeding. If she didn't get surgery immediately, she was going to die. 6 hours later, she wakes up to find her surgery was a success, and after several weeks of recovery, the incident starts to fade from her memory, until one day, Sherry and Dave somehow got onto the topic of fires and started talking about home safety. She mentioned they were fine because of the fire extinguisher in the coat closet, the one he had insisted on buying. They had had a long, drawn-out fight about whether or not to get one. Dave insisted they needed it, and then the argument moved to where it should go. They had settled on the coat closet and had to get the equipment to install it and went through the whole hassle of actually putting it up. Only Dave had no idea what she was talking about. Of course, this started another fight, but this time when Sherry tried to prove it, they went to the closet and it wasn't there. No extinguisher, no signs it had ever been installed, no screw holes, no fresh paint, nothing. She was stunned. Her memories were so vivid, so detailed, even down to where they bought it. She remembered looking at them together in Home Depot, even checking out. But according to him, this never happened. And that's when it hit her. She had felt the same way he did about the TV. And just like that, they both realized something wasn't right. David always felt a sense of wrongness when he looked at Sherry's flat-screen TV, and now Sherry felt the same wrongness when she approached the closet. They now wonder, was it a glitch in the Matrix? Had they died in the crash and surgery and somehow reset into a slightly different reality? Could they be living proof of quantum immortality? Up today's episode of Legends May Live. What do you think? Are these simple coincidences, tricks of the mind, or proof that our reality is a lot stranger than we think? Let me know your thoughts, and if you've got a story of your own, drop it into our Reddit page by the name of Strange and Unexplained. Make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share with a friend who loves a good eerie tale. Until next time, keep your eyes open and keep a lookout, because it turns out legends may live.